the most baffling decision that I just don't understand, and I have been yelling about it. If anyone's on patreon.com/inside the ropes, Kenny and I did review SummerSlam together. And I think he was trying to be measured about it because I was just like, no, everything's terrible. Burn it with fire. I'm so angry right now. And I'm still angry. I'm still really angry. I put Bianca specifically behind me today because I'm like, you know who's great? Bianca Belair. I think she's great. She's awesome. She's a star. Look, she like basically stole WrestleMania, right? Like she had my favorite WrestleMania moment. She is amazing. And to throw that away for Becky Lynch's return, that absolutely ruined Becky Lynch for me in one fell sweep. Oh, I'm just so angry right now.
It's just like
I'm like balling up my fists like anger right now. I'm still raging about it.
Fair, absolutely fair. Because do you know what? Right, I get it. Right, Becky returns. Think of it this way, okay? Like, and I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. So Becky returns. You need to make her look strong. Absolutely. Do you need to squash Bianca Belair?
Rising star Bianca Belair, who was like super, super close to being another legitimate star on the level of your horsewomen that you love to tell.
This is it. And then you've actually just made Becky look terrible because so Becky can only so this is the thing, is now we all have seen Becky. She can't go. Like, we don't know if she can go with somebody like Bianca Belair who can actually go in a match. Mm-hmm. So now, like, it's actually just ruined Becky because we don't know what she's capable of. Like, okay, she can do a roll up magic.
Yeah.
Like, pin 1, 2, 3, fab. We could all do that on a sneak attack tiger effort.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I was devastated when that happened. To be fair, I left SummerSlam. Like, SummerSlam actually as a night was really horrific for me. Like, I didn't have a good time on SummerSlam. No, I had a nice time. I was like working a party, but there was like, it just became a whole lot of like other things that got involved, like personal issues and stuff. Like, I couldn't get where I was supposed to go and whatever, this kind of stuff. But did that, and then watching the show, I was like, right, okay, well, at least this. No. There's so much that I was like, I hate this.
Well, the thing is, like, I mean, Becky Lynch's return should have been a really joyous occasion, right? And apparently Vince McMahon, according to rumors and whatnot, thought that this would be a way to just like highlight Becky. Like, he just didn't think about Bianca. Like, it was all about Becky's return. It was all about making her look strong. He thought people would love the fact that she won the title because she's so beloved,
not
right?
From
like,
Bianca.
She is.
Not
but
from
no,
Bianca.
not it doesn't work with Bianca.
Anyone else. No, anyone else.
Who is it? Hermit with Longbeard mentioned in the chat, like, the Honky Tonk Man and Ultimate Warrior, I think it was, right? Yeah. So that's a comparison that I think is apt, right? Like, because Warrior just kind of like squashed Honky Tonk Man after, I think, like a long Intercontinental title reign. But the Honky Tonk Man was not Bianca Belair. The Honky Tonk Man was a hated heel who was awful. And obviously, like, I haven't seen that era of wrestling, but I'm familiar enough with the story to know that he was someone who, like, he was awful, right? Like, he would be like, I'm the best Intercontinental Champion and no one can beat me and blah, 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 and I'm an utter dickhead. And, seeing him squashed would be joyous because, of course, because you want to see the guy who can't get beat but is awful get beat. That's a happy thing. Bianca Belair is like babyface of the world. Everybody loves her. She's fantastic. We don't want to see her get squashed, and it just makes me resent Becky Lynch. Like, every time they played her return vignette on Raw, I just got angry again.
But this is the thing, is like, there's so many ways that you could bring her back. And I think that the one thing we can all agree on is, for SummerSlam to be great, you needed Becky to come in to top the CM Punk thing, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's on a level, because CM Punk is like way above it.
He's on a level above everybody at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, like, they needed to do something big and get Becky in. But to do that to Bianca, it's like, it's just ruined a full, like, 7 months of storyline, like, from the Royal Rumble. What the hell? Like, it's just ruined it. It's ruined all your documentaries. It's ruined your 24. It's ruined your Chronicle. It's actually destroyed everything about this one person. Because now what? You've made Becky this absolute indestructible monster. You've made her Brock Lesnar. What the fuck?
You have made her Brock Lesnar. And I mean, you can even compare it to when Paige debuted on the main roster against AJ Lee, right? Because AJ wanted some time off after WrestleMania. She was champion for, I want to say, 295 days. Correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody knows in the chat. But I want to say it was for 295 days. AJ Lee was champion. I loved AJ Lee as champion, but she was a heel at that point, right? Like, she was. She was, like, she was a dickhead. She was mean to everybody. She was, like, crazy or whatever. And so for Paige to make her debut, which was a very big deal because we didn't have the horsewomen at that point. Stephanie McMahon had not invented women's wrestling yet, so it wasn't a thing. Not that I'm still salty about that, but I am. But you know what I mean? Like, it was pre-women's evolution, and it felt like the start of something. And so Paige beating AJ Lee like that was like, it was shocking in the same way. But AJ was fine. AJ was already the biggest star. Yeah. You know, and I think that's another difference, is that Bianca is not already the biggest star. Bianca feels like she was starting to get there. Yeah, like they would put her on level with the horsewomen.
She was on the build.
She was on the build, and she, like, because AJ had been on top for so long that, like, and she was going to be fine when she came back, you know? I don't know if it's the same for Bianca. I don't think all hope is lost for her being a star or anything like that, because she's great, she's talented, she's incredible, you can rebuild her, but still, it's like, you've definitely done her a disservice by having her lose that quickly after being not as dominant a champion as, like, AJ or Brock Lesnar or somebody, right? Because she hadn't had the time to be that dominant against anybody. She's been winning, obviously. She's stayed champion, but it hasn't felt like she's like this indestructible monster who hasn't lost, because she has lost matches.
Yeah, of course she has. Because the thing is, the way that it's been different, or the way that I feel that it's been differently portrayed, is that she's human. And she is this kind of like, I've worked so hard for this. And then all her wins is because she's actually put in the effort and done this, done that. And then Becky Lynch comes back after less than 6 months from having a freaking baby and can just, to be fair, like, no disrespect to Becky Lynch. She looked amazing.
She did.
She you know, fantastic, well done to you.
Whatever, like, new salon or whoever's doing her extensions now, they looked incredible.
Oh, she looked insane. She looked so good. But the thing is, like, she's literally just had a baby. She technically could still be breastfeeding. You know, and then she just comes in and she just squashes this woman who has literally poured into her heart and soul of, like, I am going to work my way up this whole ladder. It's just mad. You've put Becky Lynch on this insane pedestal where it's actually really detrimental to her character, because, like, when the man came about, she built her way up to that pedestal
after being screwed at a SummerSlam, right? Like, she was the underdog, the ultimate underdog, and that's how she built her character.
But being an active wrestler for her whole freaking life, and then she goes away to have a baby, and she comes back, well, she's still technically breastfeeding. Technically, could be, not, or whatever. Like,
I mean, I don't know if she's breastfeeding her kid, but she would definitely be in that window.
But this is the thing, do you know what I mean? Like, she's literally just come away from a long time of not being able to, like, train or do any of this, and she's come back and she's absolutely slammed somebody who's been working their whole freaking life on it. Come on, show ring rust, show a wee bit of this. I actually would have loved it if Becky came back and lost and made it really human. I
think that would have been interesting. I don't have a problem with Becky winning, even. Like, no, I don't have a problem with her winning.
I don't have a problem if it was a match.
If it was a match.